Hey everybody, this is EduJoe and welcome to my second video in my series on for loops. And in this video we're going to be looking at stepping in for loops. What that means is when you run a normal for loop like we did in the previous video for I in range 10, when we run this, this will obviously produce, let's do F5 and enter, this will produce 10 values based on what I is. But you can see they go up in ones. They go up in ones. So let's say that you wanted to go up in twos, for example. So what you could do is tell your for loop inside the parameters here where you want to start. So let's say, for example, let's say I want to start at 0. That's fine. And I want to go all the way up to 10. So this is the starting value, and this is the end value. And by default, it'll go in tens. I'll just run this one as well so you can see what it'll do. And you'll see it'll be exactly the same, 0 to 10. It still went up in 1. So by default, if you don't tell it to, it's going to step in ones. So let me just grab this other tool again. And so this is our starting value over here, and this is our end or stop value over here. And as you can see, when we ran it, it started at 0 and went all the way to 9 because it's going to loop 10 times. So it's always going to be one less whatever this value says, especially if you start over there. So that's what it means. Cool. So let's say we want to start at 1. I'll put a 1 there. F5 enter, you will see now it starts at 1, but still only goes up to 9. So it never reaches whatever the final value is that you have here. So if you wanted to go from 1 to 10, this one has to be 11. So when you run it now, it's going to go from 1 all the way to 10. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Whatever you want it to go to, just make that end value 1 more. And then if you want to step in multiples of more than 1, this is where you can put it in. I'm just going to go back to 0. I want to start at 0. And then I want to go all the way to 10. Oh, no, that's one less than what we have there. And then I want to step in 2. So when I run this one now, you will see that it goes 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Can't reach the 11th one because it's not part of it. So let me just show you if I change that to a 12. Then theoretically it still should not reach the 12. As you can see, that only goes up to 10 in twos, but it does include the first value. So if I wanted to include 12, that has to be a 13 or a 14. So let me just do F5 enter, and then you will see 0 to 12. So that's if you want to step in twos. You can change that to step in threes. F5 enter, and then you will see it's 0, 3, 6, 9. And so on. Or you can decide that you want to go all the way to maybe 50, and we want to do that in fives. So F5 enter, it'll start at 0, 0, 5, 10, all the way in fives, all the way to 50. So this is how stepping works in for loops if you're stepping to the positives. So this will be your multiples, or your stepping will actually happen with that final value that we have, final parameter that we have here. So we've got our starting value over here, and it includes that value. We have our end value. How do I go back one? There we go. And we have our end value here, but it does not include whatever the value is. It's one less than the highest value, and then we're going to step in terms of this. So what happens if you want to perhaps go backwards? If you want to go backwards, so you want to say for I in range, and then let's say you want to start at 10 and you want to count all the way back to 0. So that's where you want to start, like a little countdown. And for now we just want to do it in ones, so I'm going to do a -1. The -1 should take us backwards. So now you see it starts at 10, goes all the way to 1, so that goes backwards. And just like before, the starting value is included, but the end value is not. Because we're going backwards now, because of the negative, backwards it'll be one higher than this value in terms of what we did. And again, the same thing applies. You can do it in multiples of 2, backwards, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. And if you want to include the 0, you just need to make that one -1. And then if you F5 enter, it'll also include the 0, like so. So and that is how it works. If you want to go forwards, so from the lowest to the highest, for example, if we make that one 0, we make that one, let's say 100, and we want to count in, let's say, tens, F5 enter, that will give you 0 to 90 because we've gone to 100. Again, if you want to include the 100, we'll just need to make that value slightly higher. Then you will see it goes all the way to 100. And if you want to go backwards, just like I showed you now, let's just make this one 100 now, make this one -1, and then go back in multiples of 10 but backwards, and that should give us 100 all the way to 0, like that. So that is how stepping works in for loops. And I think that's about it. In terms of the basics of for loops, you now know how to do a for loop. At the moment, the only thing we've really done is just printed whatever this value is. In the next videos that come up, I'll do a few examples of how you can use for loops to solve problems in that sense. So thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a nice day. Goodbye.